Hello and welcome to Mastering in the Box. In today's video we're going to take a look at the ABLM Loudness Match plugin by TBProAudio and how we can use loudness matching to get better sounding masters. Hello and welcome to Mastering in the Box. I'm your host Smudge, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the fantastic ABLM Loudness Match plugin by TBProAudio. So if you've been following for the last couple of weeks, we've taken a look at referencing and how we can use referencing to get great sounding masters. However, one of the considerations that we've been looking at is loudness and how volume can potentially deceive our ears. And when it comes to additional volume through plugin processing, one of the challenges we face is sometimes we perceive loudness to be better, but we know that that's not always the case, and we are often tricked or deceived by something sounding louder and we perceive it to sound better. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is you can go through your plugins and tweak the inputs and the outputs to get an exact gain match, but that's time consuming, it takes away your creativity, and there is a better solution, and we're going to go through that this week by taking a look at the ABLM Loudness Match plugin by TBProAudio and how we can use this to get great loudness matching inside of our masters. So before we get into the content of this week's video, if you want to know more about digital mastering, then make sure you subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below, and don't forget to tick that bell and select all to receive notifications on all of our videos moving forward. So the track I'm featuring for this week's video is a track called Out of Control by Fytakyte, and this song is available for download through the Cambridge Music Technology website that's run by Mike Senior. This is a fantastic resource, I cannot highly recommend it enough. If you want to get your hands on some multi-tracks and some pre-master songs to practice your mixing and mastering on, then check out this website, Cambridge Music Technology, and I'll leave links in the description down below. I've taken a listen to this track, I'm in the process of mastering it, and to be fair, I don't really feel I need to do too much. It's a really well produced and mixed song. In terms of the limiter, we are using the TR5 Stealth Limiter by Multimedia, and we've got an output ceiling of -1 dB and about 4.5 dBs worth of input. Plenty of headroom for this track, and even then, just the tiniest bit of gain reduction, so there's not too much gain reduction from the limiter at all. Let's take a brief listen to the track before we do any further processing. So there's just a couple of things I noticed that I just wanted to kind of emphasise, and one of those things was actually the bass guitar. I just found with the low end, the bass guitar was a little bit kind of hidden. So what I did is I went for the TR5 Equal plugin, and I put it in mid-side mode, and it's in mid mode only, and I've just done a dB's boost at 112 Hz, quite a wide Q, and it's just making that bass guitar poke out a little bit. But just to kind of emphasise it a little bit further, one of the things I was a bit conscious of is the guitars on the sides, and I've just done a little dip around 131 Hz as well. It's 1.8 dBs, so where I'm boosting the mids to bring out the bass guitar, just actually cutting around about that same frequency on the sides just gives the bass guitar a bit more presence. And then in terms of compression, once again, it's just using the Dyna from, say, Multimedia again. It's the TR5 Dyna, and we're just getting a dB's worth of gain reduction. Moderate attack, moderate release. Threshold is just brought down just a taste, and a balancing output. I'm not doing anything aggressive here. It's in standard stereo mode. I'm not applying the hard function, so it's just a nice gentle compression. So let's engage those plugins and let's take another listen. let's say, for example purposes, that we wanted to take this a little bit further, and let's, for example, say we wanted to compress the low end only to really enhance that low end further. I've taken a multiband compressor, and this is the Rear X Comp, which is a stock multiband compressor inside of Reaper, and I have set the low band from 0 to 200 Hz, the ratio of 4:1, and the threshold, I've reduced it down to -14 to really emphasize the low end. Now this is purely for illustrative purposes only, but let's take a listen and see what the multiband compressor is doing.
Driving blindly down a dead-end street, never knowing what we're gonna meet. So long now.
Now that is what you call hyping the low end. Let's take another listen with all three plugins bypassed. I'll then re-engage them and listen for the volume difference in the track.
We're driving blindly down a dead-end street, never knowing what we're gonna meet. So long now.
And this is one of the challenges when it comes to using plugins, is we really need to ensure that we're not adding too much volume along the way, or if we are, we need a good way at comparing the pre effects and the post effects levels, so we can get a fair comparison as to what the plugins are doing rather than whether they are just adding volume. This is where the ABLM plugin and loudness matching can come into its own. So to set up the ABLM plugin in your plugin chain, it is really simple to do. All you do is you put the first instance of the plugin at the beginning of your FX chain, and the mode needs to be set to sender mode. The link ID I always keep at number 1, and this needs to match the second instance of the plugin at the end of the chain. Then at the end of the chain we add in the second instance of the plugin, and this needs to be set into receiver mode. Link ID keep at number 1 to match the first instance of the plugin. Then what this is going to do is it's going to volume match the chain for us. So we're purely going to listen to the changes that the plugins are doing without the volume adjustment. Let's take a listen.
Can I get perspective? Like a rat trapped inside a maze, in a system so defective, locked into a malevolent gaze.
So this is such an articulate way to get a good look at what your plugins are actually doing. You're not going to be deceived by volume choices or volume adjustments in the plugin chains. You are purely going to be listening to the more technical side of what your plugins are doing. How are they affecting with the EQ moves, what the compression is doing to the overall track, and you are not going to be deceived by the overall volume differences that the plugins are giving you. So just to take a further look at what the plugin has to offer here, we have a latency compensation area here. So if you find that there's a latency difference between the beginning and the end of the plugin chain, then if we click the PDC button, it will do a start-stop of the automatic latency measurement, and it will make an automatic adjustment for you. In terms of metering, we have different options here with RMS, summed and average, the EBU R128 functions for the momentary loudness and short-term loudness, VU and max peak. We have a reference level, a pre-effects loudness, which is the loudness pre-plugins. You then have your global bypass function. You have a either negative or positive gain function here, and in the AB mode right here. And we have post-effects loudness, which is the loudness post-plugins. In terms of match mode, I prefer to keep it in auto function, so this is where it's going to do an automatic volume comparison for you. There is a manual mode which you can go through and automatically set the input gain. There is a gain stage function, and you can inverse the details. So what the inverse is going to do is it's going to allow you to listen to any potential differences pre-plugins. And then snapshots. This is a great option if you want to store some presets. They call them snapshots, but you can actually go here, click on the snapshot, and then click the store button to store your settings for your snapshot. It's a very great, simple and easy to use plugin. So to get a copy of the ABLM plugin, head on over to tb-software.com. I'll leave links in the description down below, but it's the ABLM AB Loudness Match plugin. It is very reasonably priced at €49 plus VAT, and it's really simple and easy to get hold of. There is a registration process through Share It, and all you need is say email address and a password, and they will send you the license details through. A lot of these plugins come with demos, so if you want to try the plugin out, then make sure you head on over and download it. They are really good plugins to use. I'm not affiliated with TBProAudio, I'm not sponsored by them. I just really believe in supporting companies who produce great products, and they really do. It's part of their philosophy. They even mention it on their website that if you buy a product through them, you are part of their family, and they take this literally. I had a license issue with the ABLM plugin. I emailed them and had a response back within less than half an hour. It was so quick, no quibbles, no issues. They just resolved it straight away. So check it out. It's the ABLM plugin from TBProAudio, and if you want to know more about your plugin chain and the exact details of what your plugins are doing, then this is a great option for you. So that's it for this week's video. This really is a great product to use, certainly if you're a novice to mastering, and if you want to really get into the nitty-gritty and find out exactly what your plugins are doing without being deceived by volume, then this is a great option, so I'd highly recommend you check it out. If you like this content, then please don't forget to give the video a like, and if you want to know more about digital mastering, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and make sure you tick that bell and select all to receive notifications on all of our videos moving forward. This is the first real plugin review I've done, so if you want to see more plugin reviews for mastering based products, let me know in the comments down below, and all that's left for me to say is I hope you keep safe and well, and I'll see you in the next video coming real soon.